A warm welcome to all of you. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever that you're joining us. If you're new here, my name is Mudhoni Njogu. I'm the managing partner of Njogu and Associate Advocates. So besides kutetea haki za clients, we also have this series where we're able to deconstruct the law, or in the alternative, we get to have topics and discussions on legally regulated entities that are able to show us other facets of our lives. I keep saying at the bottom of everything that we do, there is a law somewhere, from the time you were born all the way until you leave this good earth. Today we want to talk about securities and we want to hear from our great speaker today. His name is Justus Ogalo. Justus is the derivatives manager. So perhaps Justus, you're going to start with, the jargon. What is derivatives? Tuanzie hapo, So he's going to be telling us a little bit about the instruments and products that are at the NSE. So Justus, without further ado, and because of time, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that very hearty introduction. So to everyone, yes, my name is Justus Ogalo, the derivatives manager of the exchange. And today I'll really be taking you through what the NSE is, what the products that we have available for anybody to be able to invest in or capitalize from within our economy. Then I'll also be giving an insight into how a few of the products that we have been performing. And then I'll also be able to point you into the right direction to really begin your investment journey. So really, when we talk about the NSE, we are the only regulated exchange in the country at the moment. We are the fifth largest exchange in Africa. Currently, we have a bonds market that has a capitalization of 3.7 trillion Kenya shillings, largely made up of government bonds and treasury bills. So when we talk about the government borrowing from the public, really this is where that comes from. So this is the total valuation of really all the bonds and treasury bills that are listed. When we look at our equities market, all the listed companies in the exchange, we have a total valuation of 1.6 trillion Kenya shillings. So you can really see how much of our economy and how much capital has been raised through the exchange to be able to sustainably build our economy. And as part of this, we have a variety of makeups of products and services that we provide to the public. So these include the traditional equities. So any company looking to raise capital to fund their operations really can list the company through the exchange. Currently, we have 64 listed companies. We also have what we call real estate investment trusts. So this is really a very big avenue for those in the real estate sector to be able to raise capital for their projects and also be able to manage those products in a very structured manner. And it allows retail investors as well as institutional investors to be able to participate in property markets other than just buying land or buying houses. So real estate investment trusts give a very good avenue for anybody who's looking to invest in property but doesn't have the large amounts of capital that is required to outright purchase the properties. We also host what we call exchange traded funds. So these allow investors to be able to invest in a basket of investment products such as commodities, interest rates, and currencies into one structured product that trades as a share. So currently in our market, we have the Absa Gold ETF that is currently in operation. So if anyone wants to invest in gold, then that is a simplified form for you to be able to do that. As the exchange, we also offer a variety of capacity building training services at any level. We have a variety of master classes that we offer, basic trainings on investments and how to be able to analyze a stock. All this is done through our NSE Academy, for which there's a abundance of information available online. We also have the derivatives market, for which I facilitate. And basically, the derivative allows an investor to be able to trade on appreciations in capital in the market, as well as depreciation based on an underlying asset. So if an asset is declining in value, then you can still be able to capitalize on that through a derivative. Next, we also have our data services, where we are able to provide a lot of the insights that we collect from the markets to individuals and corporates that can also help guide your investment decision. We also offer bonds, so you'd be able to purchase a corporate bond or raise capital through the exchange to further your investment journey. For those of you who remember the Emma Kiba bond, that was also a partnership between the exchange and a few other capital markets players that were able to issue a mobile-based bond that gave access to really every single retail investor for as low as 3,000 shillings to be able to participate in that. And lastly, we have our Ibuka incubator program. So this is designed to assist SMEs, to incubate SMEs, to make them investor ready, and to be able to develop corporate governance structures that allow them access capital easier. And through the Ibuka program, we then also have a platform that we are soon to launch called the NSE Connect that really digitizes that whole process. So for those who have SMEs that you want to have assistance with the restructuring or incubating, then you can always reach out to us. As I mentioned, we have a variety of equities listed in our exchange, coming from different market segments. We have the agricultural segment, automobile, banking, infrastructure, commercial services, energy and petroleum, insurance, investment, manufacturing, and telecommunications. So these are really the main segments in the market in our economy. And within those segments, there are companies that have been able to raise capital or to be able to list in the exchange, and you are able to invest in all these companies. Do the same. In terms of our global coverage, we have a variety of partnerships around the world. So we would be able to definitely assist those who are looking to invest in other markets to be able to achieve that goal. And in terms of governance, the NSE is very well structured in terms of our board structure. We have 10 board members, 4 independent and 6 non-independent. We also have our chief executive, who I hope you're all familiar with, Mr. Jeffrey Odundo, who manages our exco, consisting of 9 members, managing each of the various departments. When we look at the exchange and really what would greatly influence how you're able to invest in our market, we also have to look at some of the key factors for which the country is operating in, because these would really largely determine the performance of your portfolios once you're investing. So currently, rather at the close of 2022, we had the GDP growth of only 4.8%. So this has been a bit of a slowdown in growth over the last couple of years, really led by a number of factors, including the high level of inflation. We've also been really impacted by the ongoing geopolitical tensions with the European region. So that has had a very big impact on our market. As you can see, it has had a big impact on the supply chain systems around the world that have had a similar impact on our dollar. That really has a very big impact on our market, considering that a big portion of the investors in our market who trade on a more active basis are foreign. So with that issue on the dollar and scarcity has led to a bit of capital flight over the last year or so. And that is really what has led to the declining in prices in our market. So what you can see is, if you're beginning your investment journey, it's really good to be able to understand some of these key economic indicators and the impact that they have on our markets. So when we look at our equities market, we have quite a high level of turnover in terms of the active trading in our market. We have seen a total turnover of 94 billion that was traded in the previous year, that was 2022. Unfortunately, again, because of these economic factors that I had mentioned, it has had an impact of a decline of 31% from the previous years. However, we have had a very good start to this year, with the trading having significantly increased in March due to a large acquisition of East African breweries. So for those who had owned EABL shares then towards the end of last year, then this would have been a very good opportunity to capitalize. And as our market continues to grow and transact, then we have more and more of these kind of transactions going on that allow the overall public, the general public, to be able to participate and capitalize on such movements. We've also seen quite a big turnover from the bond market. Last year, we had traded a total of 741 billion in the market. In the previous year, we had 956. So you can see that there's a large amount of capital that is floating around within the economy. And really the work of the exchange is to assist, rather to create a platform that unlocks this kind of capital for both the retail and institutional investors, and also for companies that are looking to raise capital. This has been a very interesting space given the young nature of the market. So the market was launched in 2019, and since we've been able to grow to having a turnover of 131 million in 2022. The growth has been quite gradual. The interesting thing about the derivatives market is it allows for investors to be able to have a quick turnaround time in terms of your entry and exit into different companies that are listed in the market. Currently, we have 10 derivative contracts for the blue chip companies. We have the Safaricom, KCB Equity Bank, NCBA, Cooperative Bank, Stanchart, I&M, East African Breweries, BAT futures contracts. And with the derivative, it also allows you to be able to directly invest in the NSE 25 share index, as opposed to really purchasing each and every company that is listed in that index within a single go. So that has really been a very interesting space that has been growing over the last 5 years. We also have what you call the unquoted securities platform. This is really where we host companies that would like to participate or become members of the market, however, are not ready to be trading in the main market. So it works more like an OTC market. So for those of you who are familiar with the Aecon properties, they are one of the listed REITs that are operating in this space. Through those projects and that capital raise, they have been able to construct a number of student accommodations around the country, which are really performing quite well. You can see the opportunity that's available within the market for that. Our market is very actively involved with the foreign investors. So they tend to be the most active on the day-to-day trading, naturally because of the size of the volumes of their transactions. However, if you notice the trend, you can see that it's more reversing, and really, as Kenyans, we are starting to take back our market, if I may say. So there's a participation from our local investors has been growing significantly. When we look at the different segments, then we can see that the returns from the previous years have shown a lot of growth, especially in agriculture. You see, agriculture for Kenya plays a very big part because it is really the backbone of our economy. I think it's the largest contributor to our GDP. And you can see that the overall performance of the agricultural sector really plays a big part. We also saw a lot of investment returns from the ETF space, this being the Absa New Gold ETF. This was largely due to a trend that emerged during COVID, where gold as an asset has stood the test of time over millennia. So by introducing the ETF, it gives even local investors an opportunity to be able to invest in the commodities directly. And because of the declining economic environment globally, then we see a lot of demand for gold and gold-backed products. So that has provided a very good return for certain investors. We also had the return from the real estate investment trusts. So as I mentioned, even with the Acorn project, then they offer a really good, consistent dividend yield that has been attractive to many investors. And then lastly, with the growing financial services sector, then we can see the importance of our local banks into providing a return for our investors. So in terms of market capitalization, you can see a trend for the equities market since 2010. So this data goes back just about 13 years. And you can see that our market has been continually growing. If you look at the short term, then you can see, rather the short-term trends, then you can see there's been periods of decline, but generally our market has been growing consistently. We will be looking to list a few more companies in the next coming periods. In terms of government bonds, as you can see, the government levels of borrowing have been quite high. But what this data really tells us is that there is an appetite for investment amongst the local population, be it retail investors or institutional investors through collective investment schemes, which are your pensions or your fund managers or your unit trusts. So you can see like the pool of funds that is available for investment within the market is quite attractive. For those of you who maybe are running an SME or a large organization, you never know, then you can see that there's a lot of room for growth within the market, and there's a lot of availability of funds within the market. If you look at the coupon rates that are available, for those who are looking to hold these bonds to maturity, then you can see that there's a lot of upside towards investing within the market. So getting returns, or if you look at the most traded bonds even from April this year, you can see that the coupon rates were at about 15%. Every so often we have corporates that are also looking to raise capital through the market. So currently we have 3 active corporate bonds, being the Family Bank Bond, East African Breweries, and Kenya Mortgage Refinance Corporation. They've been able to raise debt through the public and directly through the capital markets when East African Breweries were raising their bond. And I think that one was the uptake from the retail market was actually significant enough for them to surpass actually the amount they were looking to raise. So if you look at the graph, they were looking to raise 11 billion Kenya shillings, but because of the demand for the bond, the offers that they received was at 37. So the appetite is very, very, very high. And you see, we ourselves are the ones that are really carrying our market. If you look at the table on the right, so you can see for the Family Bank Bond, majority of it was raised through corporates. However, a very large portion, 431 million being raised from local individuals like yourselves is also very attractive. For East African Breweries, that figure is 185 million, and for KMRC is at 18 million. So the appetite and the investment opportunity for everyone is quite attractive, and the markets are open for participation. I think I had spoken more on the derivatives earlier, but you can see that the market has been continually growing, and we will continue to grow. To be able to open a derivatives trading account, you can open an account with any of our licensed trading members. So the full list is available through our website, nse.co.ke, where you can be able to get a lot more information on who to reach out to and where to get information on opening your accounts. So ideally, to be able to trade, you need to open an account with one of our trading members, stockbrokers or investment banks. And now through then, you'd be able to get a lot of information with regards to what companies to invest in. They'd be able to provide you with detailed research reports on different sectors. They'd be able to give you recommendations on which companies to buy, which companies to sell. Some of our members also have automated online trading platforms that you can be able to directly access the market. The best way, I believe, that you can be able to really access the markets in a simple form is to go to the Google Play App Store and download the Dosika app. So this app really gives you a one-stop shop towards trading the equities market.
I'll start with a question on the chat session. Kenon Bayer asks, what does the negative mean in the earlier slide? I don't know what slide that was. Maybe in Bayer you can just direct us to what slide that was.
So really what this means is that there are some sectors that have not performed well, I'd say, largely due to changes in share price. So this really looks at more specifically on the share price. So when you're looking at construction and allied, one of the major components of that is Bamburi. So I think over the last couple of years, they've done quite a lot of corporate restructuring that has a direct impact on the share price. So really, that's what this demonstrates.
Wanjiro asks, please give an example on derivatives. Is it investing in, say, gold? If you can just recap on that again.
So a derivative is, in simple terms, is just a contract to transact at a future date. So it's basically an agreement that we are going to exchange Safaricom shares at a future date. So the shares that you'd be able to transact, how the market works is if you believe that the performance of, let's say, Safaricom is going to appreciate mid-September, then ideally you'd agree to be able to transact that at a higher price at the future. However, if you believe the price is going to go down, then you'd want to be able to sell it off at a lower price in the future. So it really gives you opportunity to capitalize on movements in the market at any point.
I think we threw this back when we had CMA here.
Yes.
There's been a lot of nuance that the government is broke and maybe will not be paid back our bonds. So
Yeah.
I'm going to ask this question just to direct it back to you.
Yes.
But now we are looking at maybe perhaps the next organization that does a corporate bond.
Yes.
We are weighing. Should we continue investing in the government, seemingly that there seems to be a challenge when it comes to finances? What would be your take on that?
I'm sure whenever you read the news and say and hear or see that the government is borrowing and a lot, it raises raises concerns. But really, what I'd say to that is that's not uncommon for governments to be able to borrow to finance their regular operations, because unlike ideally governments do not have are not in a way non-profit organizations. So it's not entirely possible for KRA to cover the entire budget of the country in terms of expenditure. So borrowing is a normal cycle for the government. It's a normal part of their operations. I think there are many indicators that it is useful to look at when we are gauging the level of borrowing for the government. And some of those indicators, once you get to understand how they work, are really pointing out that as much as the debt level is getting a bit high, there are still remedies that the government can be able to use to tame those using mechanisms such as the inflation and also the lending rates that are available.
How does foreign investors invest, and how do I know the best brokers to invest with to mitigate the risk of losing investment? Is it possible to trade as a person, or it has to be through a company?
Okay, so I'll start with basically for foreign investors still also trade through our local brokers. So for you to have access to the market, you need to really have an account with one of our local trading participants. We as the NSE and also the Capital Markets Authority are the ones who really provide the access to the market for the brokers. So if you visit the NSE website and also the CMA website, you'd be able to see which brokers are licensed to trade within the market. And again, I'd always emphasize on this, that you should only transact through licensed participants in our market.
Kindly expound on unquoted securities platform. I think you had mentioned about the ACON bond.
Yes.
As an example, maybe perhaps you can just expound a little bit more.
So really the unquoted securities platform is a board or a platform that we created to be able to provide a sort of OTC framework to companies that are looking to participate in capital markets. So assuming you are a company and you want to be able to raise capital in different forms, or to be able to just participate rather in the capital markets, but are maybe not looking to raise capital at the moment. So what you can do is to be able to come on board to the unquoted securities platform and be able to really benefit from the associations with the exchange. You can be able to also manage your registers. So for each company, there's a register of shareholders. So if you want an easier way of managing your shareholders, paying dividends, moving, rather providing your shareholders with an informal sort of platform to be able to exit and enter, then that's really what the unquoted security platform is.
I'm a bit curious, Justus, when you talked about the percentage of investors within our NSE, you highlighted that a lot of it is foreign investors. And my curiosity is based on what is it that the NSE or the markets that are not doing that are really attracting the local investments. But I heard you say you're trying to build a bit of structures moving forward, just to try and understand what has been the, can I say problem, quote unquote, what has been the issue before, so that it's foreign based as opposed to local.
Yeah, the blunt truth about really that balance has been just the size of capital that the foreign markets have access to as compared to us. So you see a lot of the funding comes from companies like the UK, America rather. So just the sheer volume of their economies compared to ours is really where that mix comes in. However, we have really made quite a number of strides towards really boosting that the local investors. So as I mentioned earlier, we have now been able to open up the markets to retail investors through that Dosika app. So previously, it was quite cumbersome to be able to open an account, travel far and wide just to visit your broker's office to fill in forms, which was quite an outdated way of doing things. So really what we have introduced is like now that Dosika app to be able to streamline the investment journey for the retail investor and just make it a lot more accessible. So with that already, we've seen quite a big improvement from that local participation.
Please expound on investing in data.
So maybe let me clarify. It's not really investing in data. It's a service that we provide. So if you are looking to conduct research and you'd like access to historical data, then we'd be able to provide that as the exchange. Or if you're looking to also incorporate a live stream or get access to the live streams of data as the market is trading, then that's really that's the service that we are providing, not really an investment option per se.
Has there been any entry of crypto and blockchain in the market? And here, Justus, I also want you to expand on gold pesa. Now that we are saying that gold is a very good way to hedge it comes to investments.
So my answer to this one is very simple. At the moment, to the best of my knowledge, the regulations on crypto are not yet gazetted, unless maybe I'm wrong on that, but I would still encourage you to only invest in regulated products. I know there's work to ensure to bring in these these new products into the market, but as it stands, they are not yet regulated. So I'd encourage you to stick to regulated products for your own protection. The gold ETF is already a regulated product that is listed on the exchange. So that one would be able to really invest in gold directly, just the same way you buy the share for any company.
Kindly offer insight on the training and capacity building services offered for prospective local investors. I think you touched a bit, but I can really expound on it now.
So we have a department that's dedicated to investor education. We do this in several ways. One is we have an online academy called the NSE Academy that would provide you with content that you can be able to, read at your own pace. That provides insights into different products that are available in the market. So that's one way, is through that NSE Academy. Secondly, we also have the annual NSE Challenge. So the annual NSE Challenge allows investors to be able to have a simulated experience of the trading within the market. So this runs annually. Apologies on the top of my head, I don't know the dates for this year, but the challenge really gives a hands-on simulated experience of how it feels like to trade in the market, how you can be able to incorporate different trading strategies and get a feel of how you can mix different products. So it allows you to be able to play with money markets, bank deposits, equities, and bonds. And soon enough, we'll be introducing derivatives. So that simulation really acts as another avenue. For the next is we have a series of master classes, although these are more designed towards corporates, but if the shoe fits, then you're always welcome to join. So these now provide a more in-depth training into different aspects that are very pertinent to the way organizations are run. So the major ones that we conduct are to do with corporate governance. We also touch a lot on ESG, environmental, social, and corporate governance. We also have those that are already designed for financial modeling and the likes. And then we also have in-person trainings to deal with now trading or dealing certifications for professional traders. So really through the NSE training team and the NSE Academy, there's a very big variety of options and products that we can be able to give in-depth education on, as opposed to, right now we're just talking on, what opportunities are available. But through the academy, then you'd be able to learn a lot more about trading. Also, to access the NSE Academy, then you can just visit the NSE website. There's a sub-page dedicated to training that you can get all the information and see which courses are available to you.
What's the difference between Dosika app and My Stocks? Can I trade directly through them?
Dosika and My Stocks are very closely correlated. I think My Stocks is also a data vendor for the exchange. So that they are part of the partnership and collaboration towards developing the app. And yes, you can be able to trade directly through the app.
Thank you so much, Justus. That was such an enlightening session. We have really learned quite a lot.